My name's Kaz. Welcome to my mind and body class today here at Christ Church University. We work alongside our parks and we give you 5 classes a week. And this one is with me. So you don't need any shoes, anything else, just a mat. And start in your child's pose. So we're going to come down to the mat. Have your knees about hip width apart and sit your bottom back onto your heels. So a normal child's pose, you would have your arms behind you, just lying down by the side of your legs. That's a nice child's pose if it is comfortable for you. If it's not, take your arms out in front for an extended child's pose. And just rest your head on the mat. And again, if this is too much on the neck or the back, you can adopt the 1 potato, 2 potato position where you stack your palm, you stack your fist, and you just rest your head on the top of your fist. Sometimes that gives you a nice straighter spine if you have back problems. If you can't get your feet all the way down to your heels, sometimes put a little cushion there. This is a resting pose, so it's supposed to feel comfortable, not awkward. Take a couple of deep belly breaths here. Our yogic breath, we breathe all the way down to the bottom. Opening our belly, letting the diaphragm come down so we can open our lungs as wide as we possibly can to take all the air in. We're going to come up onto our all fours. So make sure that we've got our shoulders over our wrists, our hips are over our knees. And you can imagine as if someone could eat their lunch off your back. So it's parallel to the floor. And all we're going to do is you're going to take your right arm up in front and your left leg behind you to try and create a really nice straight line in line with your hips from your fingertips to your toes. Take that back. Other side. So try and work on trying to remain balanced rather than lean to the side. Taking in those deep breaths, that will help center your balance. Come back. We're going to do exactly the same on the other side again. And then you're going to take it out just slightly, taking it out slightly. So this, depending on your hips, you might be able to take your leg out nice and level. If you can't, take it out just a little bit. If you need that stability, bring your hands back to the floor. We're going to swap it over to the other side. You might find you're a bit more stable on this side. So we take it up and then we take it out. We bring it back. And we're going to push into our down dog. So you're going to curl your toes under and push back. Curl your toes under and push back. So this is great practice to get a nice straight spine. If we push our hips as high to the ceiling as we can, by doing that, you're pushing your chest towards your thighs. Your ears are just in between your biceps. So take your head to the side, make sure that's the case. Fingers and toes facing forward. Your heels don't need to be touching the floor. But if they are, you've got super flexible hamstrings. Marvelous. Take your right leg up in the air. And hold it there for a few more seconds and bring it down. Now, the whole idea of taking our one-legged dog is to stay nice and balanced, keeping those hips parallel. So take your left leg up in the air this time. And if you're going all the way up and leaning to the side, it defies the object. That's more like a scorpion. We want to keep our hips parallel. So if our leg is just going back here, and that's as far as we can go to keep our hips parallel, keep it there. Come back into your down dog. You're going to roll through to your plank. Roll through to your plank. So our wrists are underneath our shoulders. And you are going to bring your right foot into your, in between your hands for a lunge. So lots of stability and balance that we're working on today. You're going to turn your back foot out to a 1/4 and come up to your warrior 2 position. So we should know our warrior two positions now. If you've done this along with me, and I know lots of you have. So our front leg is your right leg. Toes facing forward. You have a nice 90 in that knee. So we've got to keep that front leg bent. This back leg, remember your foot is out to a 1/4-2. Yeah, a warrior one is where our foot is more to a 5-2 or the corner of the mat. Warrior two, foot out to a nice 1/4-2. And that's the direction that you should be having your whole torso facing. Arms out, palms down. There's your warrior two. So try and keep that front leg bent all the time. And you're going to lift your heel up for me. Just lift your heel up for me and take it down again. Lift your heel up for me and take it down again. This is the Pilates bit of our yoga today. Lift your heel up, taking in those deep breaths. 2 more times, heel up, making sure that we're not compromising that front leg at all. You're just lifting your heel up for the last time and back down. Windmill your hands back either side of that front leg. Come on in, both feet together into a nice forward fold. Into a nice forward fold. So that will lead on to our sun sails. Reach all the way up to our extended mountain. Push all the way up, fingertips to the ceiling. Extended mountain pose. Come down and fold. Step back into your down dog. And remember, pushing those hips high, chest towards your thighs. Roll through to your plank. So you're just going to stay here for a little bit, like we did before. Stay in that plank position, because we are going to use this in a second. Take your left foot this time in between your hands for that lunge. In between for that lunge. Then turn your back foot out, ready for our warrior two. Come on up. So we should be feeling our muscles getting a bit warmer with the movement up and down, up and down. It's getting our pulse raised as well a little bit. So remember, with our warrior two, set it up perfectly. And then there is a point to doing it. Palms down, heel up at the front and heel down. Tiniest of movement. This will work the calf. Heel up, heel down. Heel up, heel down. Heel up, heel down. 2 more times. Heel up, heel down. 1 more. Heel up, heel down. Windmill your hands back, either side of that front foot. Bring your back leg in and stay in your fold, just for a little bit. Just for a little bit. So hang your head really heavy. Let's work these folds. We know how to do them now. Using the weight from your arms, dangle your head to straighten up that spine. Okay, we're going to do a one-legged pull. And all I want you to do is step back into a plank. So take your right foot back first, then your left leg, and come into a nice high plank position. Nice high plank position. So this is going to be where the shoulder work comes in, the wrists, the core. So we did this one-legged dog, which was our balance. We're going to practice that, doing it in our plank position now. So we just take our right foot up. It doesn't have to be very high. It doesn't have to be all the way up here. It can just be just off the ground, but keep a nice parallel shape for me. Bottom down, Liz. Try and get your bottom down so it's just your core that you're working. Find that nice high plank position. Bring your feet down and come back into your child's pose. Feet down, back into your child's pose. have a little rest here. So I just want you to have a little look at me really quickly. So we're going to get into our plank position. We've got to set it up. So shoulders over our wrists, feet hip width apart, bottom down. And all I'm going to do is lift. So just watch for now. Just lift that leg rather than come back here. We're not doing a one-legged dog. It's a plank pull. So you just, from the hips, take your foot up. Get back into your plank position, and we're going to do it on the other side. So this is a real good Pilates move. Back into your plank position. That's it, Jacqueline, getting all sorted. Love it. Shoulders over the wrists, one foot back, the other foot back into that nice high plank position. And the other leg comes up just a little bit. Squeeze your bottom, squeeze it. Keep it nice and level. Remember those hips. We're not leaning to one side. We're keeping it balanced. We did this in a one-legged dog, and it's harder to do that than this. Keep it strong, and relax. So what we can do to make it a little bit easier, if you're really struggling, the whole point of that move is to work the glutes, those bum cheeks. So if it's too much, all fours, take your leg behind you and back. Take your leg behind you and back. If it's too much in your plank position, doing a plank position and this move when it's here is a bit pointless. So we just come into our all fours. So you're going to do that a couple of times for me. Practice on each side. So setting your plank up each time, you hold it for 3 breaths for me. Foot up, hold for 3 breaths. Those belly breaths, remember, work all the way to the bottom and down. You can come back into that child's pose if you need to, or bring that left leg up straight away. And we hold for 3 breaths. Try and do this at least twice on each side. Keeping that bottom low, we're working the core. Mind and body. This is mind, concentration. This is body. This is core, strength, balance. That's what this class is all about. One more time on each side. If you've done 2 or 3 or 4, excellent. One more time on each side. It's 3 breaths. Remember, they're quite slow breaths. They don't need to be really fast. Lifting that leg high, squeeze your bum. Come back into your child's pose, your resting pose. Nice. Ooh. So we're going to do a little side kick. Keep working on the bottom. So all I want you to do is come to a kneeling position. Kneeling position. So we know straight away our hips are over our knees. Then you're going to just lean to the side. Take your right hand down. Try and stack your hip nice and straight over your knee. This is where having your camera on really helps because you can look at your form. So hip on our knee, hand down. You can have your other hip, your free hand on your hip. And we're going to lift our leg up in line. Again, balance is key. We're going to kick out just a little bit. And back to the center, kick back. You should feel this in your bum cheeks. It's a squeeze. Back to your center, out to the front, back to the center, and back to the back to the center. So if this is too much, we can always put something down to give us a little bit more leverage up. Yeah, we can always just have a little break and get back up again. There's loads of options when it comes to the side kick. So you're going to get back on the same side again. And I want you to do at least 5 forwards and backwards at the same time. 5 forwards and backwards at the same time. So you come out and back. That's 1. Keeping those nice deep breaths, forward and back. Squeezing that bottom, squeeze your bottom. Try to keep your hips over your knee. This is supposed to be felt in the abductors as well, the muscles that run along the side, and your gluteus medius, yeah, that little muscle that's on the outside of the bum cheek. Once you've done your 5, we're going to swap it over to the other side straight away. See it looking good, Norman, looking good. So all we do, come into that kneeling position, stack it, lean to the side so that we've got a nice 90-90, lifting that leg up parallel to our hips, or in line with our hips, not parallel to our hips. And we take it out and we take it back. My wrists are letting me down today. Oh no, Liz, why don't you come down to, Liz, your option, come down to your elbow. Come down to your elbow, a bit of foundation, and you can stay on the side. Everyone else, carry on where you were. So your option, Liz, onto your elbow, hand on the floor for a bit of support. Just lift your foot up, hip width apart, take it out and take it back. So this is just a lying side kick, yeah? Having it on your knee, you've just got to work a little bit harder on your balance. So it's not any really easier. Really, you've just got to work your balance. So do at least 5 for me. At least 5, then come into your child's pose for a little relaxation. At least 5, keeping that leg parallel to the hip. Back and forward is 1. So it looks like most of you are finished. Nice. Very nice. Back. There's my 5. Marvelous. Right. Once we've done our 5, come into your child's pose. Really stretch your arms away to work those obliques. Really walk your hands forward, stretch, stretch, stretch. Come on up and lie on your back for me. We're going to do a really nice roll up. So roll ups are basically the equivalent to a very, very slow sit up. But sit ups sometimes give you a little punch. So if people tell you, oh, if you do 100 sit-ups a day, you'll get rid of you'll get a flat stomach. You won't. It actually gives you a little belly. Whereas if you do a few roll-ups, completely different story. That will give you nice flat abs. So we're going to lie back into a nice corpse pose, our Shavasana. So have just your arms relaxed down the side for now. Legs together, eye gaze up. You're going to draw your arms up. So rather than watch, think what she said, draw your arms up above your head. So you're in a really nice pencil shape. Perfect. And relax here just for a few seconds. And what I want to see is you bring your arms up so that at a 90-degree angle. So your fingertips now face the ceiling. Your arms are nice and straight above your shoulders. And as we start to move our arms forward, we're going to peel ourselves off like you're peeling a sticker off the floor. So you're going to take your hands forward, start bringing your head up, start bringing your neck up, the top of your spine, vertebrae by vertebrae. Keep going, coming all the way up. Take those arms, use those arms, keep stretching forward. Once you've come up to that seated position, I want you to lean forward into those toes and create a nice C shape with your spine. Hang your head heavy, get a nice forward fold here. So Norma, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to show you an easier way for you to do this in a second. So from coming all the way back up into that nice seated position, we're going to roll down vertebrae by vertebrae as slowly as we came up. Try not to slam back when we get towards the floor. Peel yourself back as if you peeled yourself up. This is such good work for our core. So we've peeled ourselves all the way back, taking our arms up so that their fingertips to the ceiling, bring themselves over, back into that nice pencil shape, that Shavasana, that corpse pose. You're going to do that a few times for me and see if you can get even slower. Norman, have a little watch on what I want you to do. Right, you're going to just do the roll down for me. So everyone else, practice your roll up, squeeze your abs, yeah? Norman, we're going to do this. We're going to just do a roll down. We're going to practice just working on those hip flexors and the abdominals at the same time. So you're just going to do a really slow roll down. All we're going to do is just have our hands at the side. You can have your hands at the side on the floor and slide them back. Slide them back as you slide your body back. And try not to fall there, keeping your legs down. Keeping those legs down if you can. Sit, keep coming back, and then you're going to end up lying back on the floor. Lie back on the floor for me, Norman. That's it. Perfect. Then sit yourself back up, and you're going to keep practicing that, coming back really slowly. It's easier to fall back than it is to roll up, so we get those muscles to work even harder when we fall back so that we can prepare them for the roll up. Do 2 more roll-ups for me. If we're there, really, really slowly. Have about 20 counts in your mind. This is so great for flat abdominals, yeah? Anyone that tells you sit-ups will help, they won't. Roll-ups and roll-downs will. Eye gaze up to the ceiling. Draw yourself up really slowly. Up, 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 up. Watch you don't flick your chair over, Norman. Really slowly. That's it. Really slowly. So you've done 2 more of those. Once you've come down really slowly, I want you to stay in that Shavasana with your arms above your head and do a really big stretch for me. Really big stretch. Eye gaze up. Really stretch. Ugh. And come back up to your seated position. We're going to do a sort. So this is quite a nice one for everybody. So not much, many adaptations required for this. So doing the roll up and the roll down, you think, I can't do that, it's too hard. Practice will get you there, yeah? And that will just show that your abdominals inside are working. So keep doing that at home as well. Have your legs out into a nice wide position. So they don't need to be super wide. You can have them just outside your shoulders. But if you can, get them nice and wide. This is all going to help with the twist and the stretch that we're going to do. Keep your toes facing the ceiling so we have that little bit of engagement underneath the hamstring, but you don't need to super flex your feet. So sit up nice and straight. This is our wide seated pose. So we would have our legs together to do a normal seated pose, hands either side of our bottom. This is a wide seated pose. Again, we channel our mountain pose throughout any position that we do in Pilates, in yoga, and that is relaxed shoulders, chest and eye gaze forward, tummy tight, sitting on your sit bones rather than your bum cheeks. You're going to take your arms out to the side with your palms down. And all we're going to do is twist our right hand over to touch our left foot. Twist. Come on up, back to that center and twist. So I don't want you to do this really fast. I want you to make sure you come back to that neutral position, that center position, reach and stretch. So we want to feel the twist in the side of the body as well as the shoulders pulling over. If it's too much, bring your feet in closer, keeping our chest up. So we don't want to completely lean forward. Take your eye gaze behind you as well. That's a little bit tougher. Or keep your eye gaze just down forward where your hand is going. But if you want that option of a bit more challenge, take your eye gaze all the way to the back of the room, along with that other hand, and reach. But remember, we don't have to twist our neck or our head if we don't want to. So we keep our arms in a little bit, keep our legs in a little bit. The eye gaze can just go towards the toe. You can even do this with one arm if you like. If you're struggling, you could just do it here, little stretch there. Come on up and another little stretch. Keep going. Doing those nice deep breaths, nice and slowly, coming back to your center every time. Twist and reach. Remember where you can take your eye gaze to make it a bit tougher, so that once you take your eye gaze round, you end up twisting more further around than you realized. It really does work. Give it a little practice. Do about 2 more on each side for me. Really stretch and reach. Really stretch and reach. Back to your center each time. Stretch and reach. And bring your feet in together. Oh, lovely. We're still working on those hips. We're still working on those adductors, the muscles that run along inside the thighs. We're going to come into our bound angle or our butterfly pose. So the balls of your feet together. Now, if you can't get them anywhere near the floor, have them out a little bit. Yeah, I don't want you to put loads of pressure. Again, this is supposed to be quite a nice relaxing pose. So if your legs are up here, because that's as far as your hips will let it go, that's fine. If you are super flexible, you are able to get your heels into your groin, you are able to get your legs down. Perfect. And we are just going to we're going to adopt the position with our elbows on our knees. We can adopt a yoga position with our hands. So your finger and thumb joined together into a circle, palms facing up to the ceiling, making sure that you have a nice straight back, chest is high. But this should feel comfortable, yeah? If it's not, take your feet out further away. Just relax the legs down. If they're all the way up here and it's not comfortable, then just have them as comfortable as they can be. And close your eyes for me. This is going to be our little bit of relaxation now. A little bit longer than we normally do because we've worked hard. Pilates is very much core, centering, contrology. And if you're like, oh, this is too much on my hips, Kaz, then just take your legs forward or take them into a cross legs. I really want you to be comfortable and not have to fidget about because it's uncomfortable. So if it's too much, just come into your nice cross legs, keeping your forefinger and your thumb together. Eyes closed, chest is up, nice straight back. Not overthinking, keeping your posture straight, just knowing that you are nice and straight. Taking those deep belly breaths. So we take all the air in, we push the diaphragm down. So we've got to move the belly out, open the lungs as wide as they'll go, taking all that air. And then release as much air as you've taken out and some so that you can really get all the toxins out that we've taken in. Remember, I want you to be comfortable. If it's uncomfortable, find a place. So from here, I want you to picture a big number 30 in your mind, a big number 30. So keeping those eyes closed, they're rested closed, they're not being forced shut. Picture the big number 30. Yeah, any color you like, make it a nice bright one. And I want you to imagine as if it's one of those shutter countdowns. So it slowly comes back to 29 and then to 28. You're going to count that in your mind, but say it in your mind as it comes down to 1. And watch in your mind, so you're not focusing on anything else. Just watch those numbers tick down to 1. Really focus. Try not to let any other things come in and interrupt you, apart from my voice a little bit. Once you've come down to 1, just want you to cross your legs. Once you've got all the way down to number 1, we're going to take our arms up nice and wide to the side. Stretch your fingertips to the ceiling as much as you possibly can. Take a really deep breath here. Exhale. Bring your hands down to your heart center. Namaste. Thanks very much. Something completely different today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in your chat. You know I love stuff to read. Don't forget our YouTube channel and all our other classes, and I'll see you next week.